Rock It Right. We're so glad that you could be with us. You know, I feel like it's old home week. You know how when you finally get together with your old friends that know you, that get you, and you get them. And we just would not even be sitting here without the help and guidance and production expertise of Kevin Gallagher. So I'm so glad that you came. You're so shy. You don't like it when we praise you.
I just gave y'all a little guidance and a little structure and showed you how to do a radio show. And
we needed that.
5 years later, it's a television show, you know?
Yeah.
I think you all have done wonderfully with it. So.
Look how well you trained us.
Well, I'll take a little credit for that. I mean,
yes.
I like to think I gave you a little bit of coaching along the way.
Yeah, you did.
Well,
sometimes I was kind of harsh, wasn't I?
No, it was always with love. Always with love, because we made the same mistakes
when
over.
we were just on the radio, I'd be like, girls, what is the sense in me giving you 2 minutes, 1 minute, if you're not looking at me?
We're long talkers.
That's okay. You got a lot to say, both of you.
Yeah.
We do. We're so glad that you could be here.
Thank you.
We're thrilled that you're here. We've missed you.
I missed being out among people.
Right. And we know folks have missed you because if they watch Pelican broadcasting stations, they have been seeing you on the Exiles for a while. And they've been missing out on you. But you got back recently.
I was absent from the television show I do with Bill Profita and the Facebook streaming program that we do twice a week for 8 weeks while I was undergoing the back end of my cancer treatments and then trying to recover from my cancer treatments, which, whew, you know, it's going to be a full cure. I mean, I've got assurance from both of my oncologists that it's going to be a cure.
Which is great, and we love hearing that, but I know that journey is really hard.
It's tough, and it's so funny because what I had a lymph node that had gone cancerous, and then the cells had spread, and I had some on my tongue and in my mouth. So I had 3 areas, the neck, the tongue, and parts of the mouth that had to be treated with a little bit of chemo, which I had chemo once a week I had 7 chemo treatments. Mm-hmm. And then I had 32 consecutive days, well, excuse me, not consecutive because I had Saturdays and Sundays off, but I had 32 days of radiation treatments, and they were radiating my mouth.
And that's really hard.
And when you make your living with your voice,
I was scared to death I was going to lose my voice.
Yes.
Well, it is back, and it sounds just like normal, I have to say. Because you have a great radio voice.
Yes, you do.
But people don't realize, too, the areas you're talking about, it affects your eating and drinking. And
salivary glands.
That was the worst part. I don't know if people are familiar with me, but I lost 53 pounds. And it was
the hard way.
It was from starvation because and
that's a lot in like 8 weeks of the course of your treatment.
I mean, there's liquid nourishment, but I just couldn't get enough down to keep up, and the pounds just started dropping off of me, and the doctors got concerned. And towards the end, they put a feeding tube in my stomach, and for about 4 weeks, I was feeding liquid through the tube, and that started to bring me back, you know, and feeling more like myself. But now I'm actually eating meals again, and the tube comes out on Monday.
Yay.
Yes.
So
and you got excellent care from Mary Bird Perkins, Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center,
who sponsors this segment,
who
by
has
the way.
sponsored our show for years, and
Since
this is our medical
very beginning,
segment.
they have been with you all, and that is loyalty.
Great.
And I, having now had personal experience with them, you know, when we were doing the radio show and I was producing the radio show for you, I was so impressed by all of the guests that you would have on the show and their expertise and their willingness to speak about it in plain
Every 2
talk.
weeks we learned about cancer.
And as it turned out, every single one of my doctors had been a guest on your show.
That is crazy.
My neck surgeon, Larissa Sweeney, had been a guest on the show. Brian Bienvenu, my chemo oncologist, had been a guest on the show. And Dr. Huang had been a guest on the show many times.
Yes.
And all of them are regarded as in the top 10 in their professions in the nation.
That's great.
And they treated me with kindness and respect and decency, as did everybody. Everybody, from the person that greets you at the door and makes sure that you've got a mask, or screens you and puts a sticker on you to show that you've been screened. I can't say enough about the staff
That's wonderful. Because sometimes people hear, they don't really hear those personal experiences, and I think that's great, and that's so important when you're going through such a hard time, to feel real comfortable with your doctor, but also feel like you can talk to them about anything that's going on.
And I could. Towards the end, I was like, especially with Dr. Huang, my radiation oncologist, is like, do we have to go 32 days? We're like 27 days. Can't we just call it quits? My mouth is burnt up. And she said, nope, we got to do it. And I said, okay, you're the boss. I just can't say enough about the professionality and the thoroughness and the compassion that everybody there, I don't know how many people have mentioned this, but they've got some top-notch nutritionalists working there. There was a girl up in the infusion center. I understand she's moved on to another job, but her name was Lindsay. And Lindsay was a little stern, but also extremely helpful and always willing to give me like free samples. Here, try this. And then Vidal, who worked down on the first floor, would like, she'd see me in the hall, say, hey, you got a minute? And she'd get me in her office, and how's it going? What are you eating? What can you get down? And just making sure, and she was kind of my monitor, but also my cheerleader to help me get through the thing. But sadly, towards the end, it got where, even Boost, these high-protein drinks,
right.
Cancer Services of Greater Baton Rouge gave me cases of Boost absolutely free. And the stuff was good, but it got where I couldn't even get a whole 8-ounce carton of Boost down. So I was relying on water, and water with extra hydration mixed in with it. But that just, there was
not the calories.
There was no nutrition in there. Finally, Dr. Bienvenu said, your organs are crashing, my friend. And that was he could tell that, I was walking with a cane by that time, just so I'd have something to lean on.
Because you were so weak.
And then by the last week, it was, I'd have somebody meet me at the door with a wheelchair. Because I just had no strength whatsoever.
Well, when you started eating something, what was the first thing that you were just craving, like, I really want to try this? And
this is going to sound
is it going to work or not?
I've always been fond of Campbell's split pea with ham soup.
Okay, that sounds like that would have gone down okay, huh?
Well, Marianne, my wife Marianne, who has been my nurse, she was my nursemaid through this whole thing. She got the brilliant idea to take the soup, run it through the blender, and turn it into all just one instant, so I wouldn't have to chew anything.
Right.
And that first bowl of soup was so good because I hadn't actually eaten by mouth in like 5 weeks. And then little by little, I just started working up, more soup, and I just got I'll tell you a real quick story. I saw somebody eating tacos on TV, and I said, I want tacos.
So, not a good idea.
So we
Kevin.
ordered Mexican food. Well, I got a soft tortilla. So
okay.
But I was only able to take one bite of that taco
because they probably had some spicy stuff in there.
It wasn't that. It was that too much food in my mouth would make me choke on it.
Right. Because you hadn't been used to it.
I'd have a gag response.
Yeah.
So I could only take one bite of that taco, and I swear to God, I had little tears rolling down my face because I wanted that taco so bad. And I just had to make myself happy with
it's coming,
refried
Kevin.
beans. Oh,
it's coming. You're on the other side of the storm, thank God.
In the last week, I have eaten a quarter of a muffalata. I had spaghetti and meatballs. Last night, I had Mongolian beef.
All right. Well, you're coming on up there.
But the thing is, I noticed my stomach the organ must have actually shrunk a little bit.
Yes, and that
because I'm not able to eat as much.
For sure.
I'm full in no time.
Well, we want to talk about
the cocktails for Kevin.
Okay.
So we want to talk about
I'll tell you what I know. Bill Profita and friends have really organized this, but I'll tell you what I know.
I know all about it.
Well, why don't you tell me? I know
I'm
that
going to
next
tell
Tuesday
you
night
about
I'm
it because you're the guest of honor at it.
We got to do this in a minute because I've told too many personal
it's
stories.
going to start next week on the 10th. It's going to be Tuesdays in August from 5 to 7 p.m. The first one's going to be at Solu, and there's
On
going to be
Perkins Road near Essen.
Going to be some guaranteed DJs, including Gordy Rush, who was with us earlier, but some of the folks from ESPN and 98.1 are going to be guesting, and then there's going to be a doctor's night. I am going to get to bartend. I'm not a pro like Gordy, but I'm going to work it up. Bo Clark, who's been on your show,
competes.
Absolutely, I know. And then there's going to be an attorney night. So the second one's going to be at City Pork on Highland at the Wild Boar Bar. The third one again is going to be at Solu, and then the finale of whoever is the best bartender and brings in the most money. So I'm going to have to break out Tina from the Topsy Turvy Bar in Thibodeau. Remember that, Kevin?
Yep.
I'm going to have to break her out to win
Tina.
to be at Beau Soleil for the finale on the 31st.
Eventbrite to find out more and to get tickets. And it's Cocktails for Kevin, spell cocktails with a K.
With
And
a
we are
K,
going to be
just remember.
posting about it, sharing it, and all the different people involved are going to be sharing it. But we want everybody who's ever been one of Kevin's guests, been blessed by Kevin, brought anybody to an event that
Y'all are gonna
Kevin
make me
talked
cry.
about in 38 years of radio. We want you to support Kevin. And I'm personally going to make it my birthday fundraiser for Cocktails for Kevin. So we want to make sure that everybody supports Kevin because we love him and we thank God for him, and he's touched your life and will help wake you up in the morning. So we just appreciate you
Absolutely.
so
So
much.
check our
Thank you.
Facebook page, Rocket Right Entertainment. And we're going to be up with some more art. We got the boys back, David Lasavio and Jacob
The boys
Zemo,
are back in town.
to talk about their art and that art gene that grows in their family.
That's right.